My next patron question is from Andrew, who wanted me to compare two comedy franchises that began in the 80s. Which police comedy film series do you prefer overall, The Naked Gun or Police Academy films? Both of those franchises were certainly ones whose primary goal was to be as silly as possible, as they threw so many sight gags and wacky hijinks at the audience. While the Naked Gun films largely got humor from its star's deadpan deliveries and farcical movie spoofs, the gags in Police Academy came largely from utilizing the individual talents of the ensemble. It also had an interesting development, which I'll get to. Something I should mention is that I was only able to get to the first 5 Police Academy movies, but I feel that provides enough of a picture. But I do promise that for the sake of completion I will absolutely get to the last 2 films at some point. So which do I prefer? While Police Academy does provide some joy, I do find the Naked Gun series to be better overall. The Zucker-Abrams-Zucker team packed these movies full of jokes, and many of them do stick. They're certainly of the silly variety, but in a strangely charming way. You get your fair share of slapstick, which does work for the most part, along with some sexual innuendos and mockery of famous people. However, what I find generates the biggest laughs are the wordplay gags and the scenes that parody cop movie cliches. Like there's a great bit in the first film where Leslie Nielsen's Frank Drebin and a man he's interrogating keeps swapping brides. The various background details also provide a lot of humor. Of course, what sells a lot of the series is Nielsen. He brought his approach from Airplane to Drebin, and it works. He can even make the simple act of opening a door funny. George Kennedy is also delightful as the police captain. And there's another major role played by a former American football player named O.J. Simpson, although I don't recall him being in any movies after the third Naked Gun. I wonder what happened to him. Impressively, the sequels managed to keep laughs coming as the filmmakers found new sources of amusement and ways to utilize the characters. The Naked Gun 33 1/3 especially stands out with an entire sequence that skewers the Oscars. The various running gags throughout all 3 movies provide charms of their own, including some quick appearances from Weird Al Yankovic. The filmmakers were not afraid of going really goofy if it meant putting an amusing joke on screen, and many of the comedic bits do land. With Police Academy, it's a series that started with promise, but even with its ups and downs, there's a decent variety of jokes. The first film was definitely following up similar raunchy films of the era, but did try to have more than just sex-related jokes. This is largely a credit to the director Hugh Wilson, who actually dialed down and removed a lot of the smuttier scenes in the script, or as much as the producer Paul Zlansky would allow. Part of what also makes it work are the actors, who all bring something to the table. Steve Guttenberg is a solid lead, Michael Winslow provides some hilarious sound effects, Marion Ramsey makes the high-pitched hooks into one of the more endearing characters, and G.W. Bailey makes his antagonistic lieutenant someone to root against. While they're certainly jokes, they are products of the time, I find Police Academy has enough successful bits to become an enjoyable comedy. Police Academy 2 also managed to continue the laughs, and was helped by the addition of Bobcat Goldthwait as a criminal named Zed. It's a completely unhinged character, and Goldthwait's unique comedic style fits Zed well. It should be noted that while the first Police Academy was rated R, the second film included far less cruder gags and wound up with a PG-13. And then after that, all the subsequent films were rated PG, as the producers realized the appeal they had among the family audience. I did feel Police Academy 3 did not provide too much amusement outside of Winslow's sound effects. At this point, I wondered if maybe the writers had run out of new material to use with these characters. Thankfully, I did find Police Academy 4 to be an improvement. Even though it somewhat repeated the plot of the previous film, with the police training new officers, I did laugh at a number of scenes, and the decision to pair up Bailey's Captain Harris with Lance Kinsey's Lieutenant Proctor was especially inspired. Around the hour mark, it does seem like the movie runs out of steam, but I nonetheless got mild enjoyment out of it. Fun fact, David Spade made his film debut in Police Academy 4 as a skateboarder, and his double for the skateboarding scenes? Tony Hawk. Police Academy 5 struggled to get laughs from me, with Michael Winslow again being one of the few saving graces. The thing with these Police Academy movies is they are incredibly stupid, and yet even with the ones I was less than pleased with, there's a joyfulness that does seem to radiate off the screen. Everyone involved just wants to have a fun time, and that does come through, even with the 5th one, which mostly felt like an excuse to give the cast a vacation in Miami. You just have to roll with the absurdity of these pictures, and I think the cast helps a lot too. Even when they get to the 4th and 5th one, I don't get the sense anyone in the cast is thinking, oh great, I have to put on the police uniform again. Or if a few of them did think that, it did not come across that way on the screen. Critics tore these movies apart when they were in theaters, and The Simpsons has also taken potshots on them. But what I find fascinating is Roger Ebert's stance on the franchise. He went from hating the earlier entries, including giving the first movie 0 stars, and lamenting that people paid to see them, to eventually appreciating the joy they brought to younger viewers when he reviewed Police Academy 6 on his television show. Anyway, let me know in the comments whether you prefer the Naked Gun or the Police Academy movies, and thank you for your question, Andrew.